talk about Walker Buehler. That's my boy.
That's your boy. So before the show today, we got the breaking news before the game that he had been released.
Not even DFA'd. Released. He got the Chris Taylor treatment.
He did. It was a straight up release, and they were calling up a pretty heralded prospect in their organization to give an opportunity to pitch. And look, the truth of the matter is he really has done for the Red Sox what Noah Syndergaard did for the Dodgers a couple years back, really he's someone that's coming off of surgery that just couldn't be effective. I mean, the strikeout rate, career lows in the 16%
what surgery
range.
Coming off of?
I mean, he still had major surgery
2 years ago,
but
3 years ago.
He's never, but you're talking about multiple Tommy Johns, and when you had
so is Shohei Ohtani, and he's out here throwing 103 miles per hour.
But that's why one, you have to appreciate Shohei on a level, and two, that your chances of getting back to the guy you were after one Tommy John are lower. And then when you have a second one, they're even lower than that. I mean, there's a lot more Walker Buehlers than Nathan Eovaldi.
They didn't release Dustin May, and that's a guy that's got 2 Tommy Johns.
Well, he had a flexor tendon repair. And the truth of the matter is here's the other thing too, is the Walker Buehler, it's not just because he's had multiple Tommy Johns. That's not the number one. That's not the only reason why he's not effective, right? It's always more complicated than that. And the truth is that even before the first Tommy John in 2021, when he was the betting favorite to win the Cy Young as late as August, it was not the same fastball that we saw in 18, 19, and 20, right? It wasn't the same use of that 4-seam fastball. He kind of reinvented himself. He threw more 2-seam. He threw more cutter. But the truth of the matter is the bottom line is last year in the regular season with the Dodgers, he was not effective. And he was close to getting released last year. Then in the postseason, 15 innings, had a sub-4 ERA, sub-4 FIP, got the final 3 outs to the World Series. But is that enough? I mean, I don't know why. I see Dodgers fans everywhere, and no one loves Walker Buehler more than I do. I love Walker effing Buehler. Like, he is a part of Dodgers lore forever. He should never have to buy a shot of whiskey, a shot of bourbon, anything in the city of Los Angeles as long as he lives. But what role does he have on this team? What starter is he better than? None of them. Which bullpen piece? First of all, if you throw him into the Dodgers bullpen, he wouldn't even want that. Right? He thinks that for him, like when we talked about the Padres as a possible team, they have Sears in that role, right? I mean, if you're Walker Buehler, you want to have more opportunities to be a starting pitcher before you succumb to being a reliever in this league. Because once you're a reliever, you're a reliever. You're not stretched out as a starter. You're not viewed as a starter. So that makes zero sense. I mean, I love Walker Buehler, but if you love somebody, let it go. And you think you have to accept the fact that his last memory, his last moment as a Dodger should be striking Alex Verdugo, not trying to scratch and claw his way onto this roster and hoping, let's be honest, only way Walker Buehler would make sense for this team is if maybe 5 guys got injured. Like at the minimum 5 guys. Like I don't understand at all.
5 guys. Why are you talking about 5 guys? You want a burger, don't you? You want a burger and fries, those peanuts they got while you're waiting for your order?
I love 5 guys. 6 guys, no. 4 guys, not enough.
It has to
5
be 5 guys.
Perfect
enough. It has to be the entire starting rotation for Walker Buehler. Now look,
there's so many fries there, bro.
The fries are good. Walker Buehler's my boy. I just want to say that out. It's, he dunked on me a few years ago in the 2020.
Michael, there's not time for this.
He's dunked on me.
What did you say?
But that's my boy. I talked to him in the offseason. I talked to him over the course of his free agency. He essentially was told by the Dodgers, if you want to hang around, we got plan A, plan B, plan C to kind of go through. And if, all those plans don't line up, we might have space for you and bring you back. And if they do line up, we're probably not going to have room for you. What I was told was it was Roki Sasaki who was kind of the final straw when Roki Sasaki chose to sign with the Dodgers. That essentially meant there was no place, no room for Walker Buehler on this roster. He knew that as well. They were in great communication with him throughout the offseason. He pivoted, and now he went over to the Boston Red Sox. Now, Doug wants to blame Walker Buehler's injury history. He wants to blame the 2 Tommy John surgeries. There is something to that. There's also the fact that this guy, first of all, he's a Dodgers legend, right? We all love Walker Buehler. Who cares what he does in the regular season when the postseason shows up? Unlike Clayton Kershaw for most of his postseason career, Walker Buehler shoves. He becomes unhittable. He becomes the Nolan Ryan of the postseason.
Was he unhittable in Game 6 of the 2021 NLCS? When Eddie Rosario hit a bomb and
That was one guy. Eddie Rosario hit a bomb off him, and he was pitching on 3 days rest.
I understand that.
And that's because dead arm Max Scherzer couldn't make his start, so Walker Buehler went in on short rest to make that start. That's the kind of guy you want, whether he didn't have the success or not. The offense had given him Albert Pujols, Mookie Betts. They all struck out with the bases loaded that game.
Totally, yep.
I don't forget about that. The point is, Buehler has had an entire college career at Vanderbilt, which he won the College World Series. Had to get Tommy John after he pitched with that UCL injury in the College World Series and won a World Series championship for his alma mater, Vanderbilt. Then went and got Tommy John surgery, which is why the Dodgers were able to steal him in that draft, because nobody wanted to touch him because he was rehabbing. And they were able to bring him back. Unfortunately, he had to go through Tommy John again. That changed his velocity. Walker Buehler used to be a guy, we called him butane, right? He used to throw gas 100+ miles per hour when he was out there. He's not that pitcher anymore. He's throwing 93, 94, 95. When you lose velocity, and for most pitchers as they age, again, I'm going to go to a la Clayton Kershaw, you have to kind of relearn how to pitch. It's why Walker Buehler went down to Florida in the middle of last season and kind of had to relearn some mechanics and learn how to pitch. He told me during the postseason he thought he had figured something out as far as his curveball, as his off-speed pitches. He thought he had figured out essentially what we talk about with Kershaw, right? The Maddox way, to be an artist, to paint the corners and things like that without the velocity. And he thought he was going to be lights out this year in Boston. Didn't play that way. Also, for right-handed pitchers, even left-handed pitchers, tough to play with that green monster in Fenway Park. I don't know. Maybe in a bigger park he would do a little better. I don't know. I know people think that I'm gassing up Walker Buehler here, but the fact of the matter is he's not the same pitcher. Over time, I think he will learn how to pitch with his diminished stuff, with the pitches that he has. And I know he doesn't give a shit about the regular season. Walker Buehler only cares about the postseason. And so the reason why this move was made was not because of bonus or incentives. It was to give that guy who they called up today, I forget his name, unfortunately, but that rookie who they called up today made his major league debut against the Pirates, lost the game, but showed some good stuff with 8 strikeouts. It was to bring him up, give him a shot, especially when they're in a playoff race, and Buehler's been struggling lately, and to do it before September 1st. So now Walker Buehler has 2 days to get on a team, get on the roster, and be postseason eligible, which is when the big game Walker Buehler shows up. The Dodgers, unfortunately, are not the Dodgers starting rotation like last year where we had all the plethora of injuries. We arguably have too many starting pitchers right now, so I don't see any need for Walker Buehler. I don't see any need to put him in the bullpen. He's not a reliever. It's something he did for the postseason and closed out Game 5 of the World Series, but I think he wants the ability to start. He knows he's a starting pitcher. He's built up as a starting pitcher. He's going to go to a team, whether it's the Mets, the Phillies, Yankees, Padres just lost Michael King. Maybe there's a team there. I don't want to see him on the Padres. But these are teams who I think are going to look to add him for the postseason push and hope they get the postseason Walker Buehler of old. But regardless, he's a Dodgers legend, so I don't care. I don't always have him, but I don't think the Dodgers need him.
I think it's a numbers crunch situation. I really do. I mean, for a guy that just hasn't been good all year, you bring him back in the middle of a division race for a team that is about to embark on another journey throughout the postseason. I mean, in a perfect world, it'd be awesome. If he's released with a sub-2 ERA, throwing 100, of course you take him back, right?
Let me ask you a hypothetical question, though. 2 months ago, let's say, right, around the All-Star break, if the Red Sox had released Walker Buehler then, and you're talking about Blake Snell on the IL, Roki Sasaki on the IL, Glasnow on the IL at the time, coming back right around that. If that was the team then, right, when Robleski's starting and Ohtani's not built up yet and Sheehan's making starts and, Landon Knack was making starts, would you want Walker Buehler then if he was been released 2 months ago, would you sign him then?
See, I think that's a fair question because that's a different scenario. And a couple months ago, the outlook on a lot of these guys was very different, right? Tyler Glasnow was still working his way back, trying to refine those mechanics, going through some stuff. Blake Snell worked through that shoulder inflammation. Shohei Ohtani, could they get him to 5 innings? Will Yamamoto be able to sustain? Will Clayton Kershaw be able to sustain? Will Roki Sasaki be able to come back? There's a lot of questions. You still get Sheehan back, right? But I think the difference there is not as much how that roster looked. It was more of, okay, the Red Sox gave him $21 million, which is essentially identical to what the qualifying offer would have been that the Dodgers did not extend to him. So they would be on the hook for that. The Dodgers, a prorated, very minimal of the league minimum. It'd just be something that would have been pennies that you would take a flyer on, just because if he chose to be with the Dodgers, they were going to be able to guarantee him a spot in the rotation. They weren't going to be able to, guarantee that we are going to transition you to the bullpen. It would be, okay, guys are out, come eat innings, a lot like some of the other guys who were making starts during that time. We saw, look, Bobby Miller's made starts for this team this year. Landon Axe made starts for this team this year. We've had guys eat innings throughout the season. If you want to come back, make some starts, and be an insurance policy that you could kind of have, and then if guys come back, you move off, then fine. The difference here, though, is September 1st is in 2 days. And if you would bring him back, that would be the way to get him eligible for your postseason rotation or bullpen, and it's too difficult.
You would have had him. He could eat innings during those dog days of summer. As you got healthy, suddenly Buehler goes on the IL, which, we're seeing Alex Vesia on there right now. And so you put him down there, and then, if you need the big game pitcher, it is. Walker Buehler's, he had a 6 ERA in the regular season last year?
Yeah, close to it. Yeah.
Nobody wanted to see him in the postseason until he was in the postseason and he was shoving and he was performing like the Walker Buehler we know during the playoffs. And so you really would only want him on this roster.
So let me ask you this then, Michael. Let me ask you a question.
Roberts likes to say he has the pulse, right? He has the ability to perform under pressure when the lights are the brightest, when the moment is the biggest. Look, Walker Buehler went out to the bullpen on his own, told the front office on the bus ride over to the Yankee Stadium before Game 5, I want to be in the bullpen if things get wonky, if they're ready. That's the kind of guy Walker Buehler is. He wants to close out the World Series, where most people would shy away from that and stick to their roles. Walker Buehler would do anything it takes. So you really just want him for the postseason. It's unfortunate, though, that you can't do that. And really, as many people